I was anticipating another film just because Ghost Protocol had done so well. So when I got the call, I was very excited. I read the script and it just looked really fun and elaborate. But it came with the caveat from Chris McQuarrie, who is of course a very good writer as well as a very accomplished writer as well as a great director. He said that we'll change. You know, we're going to kind of feel it out a little bit as we go and let the story evolve organically a little bit. We had that freedom, which was nice. So I had a rough idea of what it was going to be, but we always worked on it. And when things came up in scenes that we felt could be developed later on, you know, we'd work at that. So sometimes, some mornings we'd get pages that we'd never seen before and had to learn them there and then, which wasn't always easy. But it certainly lent itself to a very fluid and sort of organic creative process, which I think is reflected in the film. He's gone from being Mr. Lab Rat to you know, full-on agent, and I think he's evolved immensely over the years. You know, he's gone from being this kind of just a sort of super fan of Ethan to being a peer of his, and that has been great to play because, you know, in Mission 3 he's very much stuck in the lab. In Mission Ghost Protocol it's his first sort of mission out in the field really, and then by this one he's been out there a while and they've closed the IMF down, so he's stuck back where he doesn't really want to be, in his office playing Halo on his computer. I love him because he's he's a regular guy. I like to play that kind of character. Regular people in incredible situations is always really fun. Because, you know, Ethan, it bounces off him like bullets sometimes, you know, the whole thing, he just takes it in his stride. But Benji's the kind of guy that would be like, what are we doing? You know, he sort of was surprised and is very human in these situations. So it's good to play the character who's most like the audience member, really, I think. Yeah, I got to do some serious stunt work, which was great. We did a big car chase, and I got to have a pretty lethal fight with an operative, which was scary. But it's great when you're part of that. You know, it's always exciting when you read the script and you see what you're going to do, because you read it on the page and you think, I'm actually going to have to do that. I'm going to have to, you know, somersault in a car or you know, come up against a lethal German assassin. It's always fun. It's so much fun. I mean, he's such a good driver, and the safety is paramount, if you pardon the pun. It's really fun. It's like being on a great roller coaster, you know. I have such trust in Tom. Tom is so safety conscious when it comes to other people. For someone who risks his life regularly for his audience, he actually cares deeply about his co-stars. He can't watch the monitor when me and Rebecca are doing dangerous things because he gets all worried. You know, it's so funny. He turns into like our mom. He's kind of like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Is this okay? Is this safe? So I know, being in the car with him, he took care of me. And we just had a blast. It was insane what we were doing. Driving through these little alleyways, turning these corners at speeds that, I mean, it was giddying, but great. Tom's a very good comedian, I think. He does great comedy acting. He's not always noted for it, but if you watch any of his performances where he's required to be comic, he's brilliant. If you saw Edge of Tomorrow, he's so funny in that film. You know, he has that ability. So it's nice to see it when Ethan is a little comical as well. Chris is he's very classy, Chris. You know, he's got a great knowledge of cinema and the art of cinema. He knows about the history of film and is able to kind of invest this film with some great little touches, you know, from not just from previous Mission Impossible movies, but great spy movies, and give it a feel and a personality all of its own. Each one of these films has been very much its own thing, and that's because of the directorial stamp on each one, from Brian De Palma through John Woo, JJ, Brad Bird, and now Chris. They've all made their own movies. It just happens to be about the same characters. So you have 5 very different movies, but they all feature the same people, and that's such a cool thing. There isn't really another film series that has that eclectic run of directors. Rebecca's fantastic. I mean, just such an incredible, charismatic person anyway. She came to set seemingly without a care in the world. You know, she was ready for the challenge. She wasn't nervous. She didn't appear to be nervous. She just stepped up to the plate, and it was really great to see. I love Rebecca. We had a really good time together. Me, Rebecca, and Tom spent a lot of time together because we were on location and we trained together and we hung out, and it was just it was nice to have them as friends as well as, you know. And Rebecca, I think, is the breakaway star of the movie. You know, you've seen me and Tom before. You know what we'll do. But so Rebecca shines, and she's great. It's fun, you know. Jeremy's such a funny guy, and he's naughty and mischievous. Ving is just such a character, and you know he's a legend. So when we're all together, there's always a lot of sniggering and goofiness. You know, we've known each other a while. I mean, you know, it's Jeremy's second film. Ving's been in all of them, you know. So it's funny to see him come. It's like him putting on a pair of comfortable slippers. You know, he knows that character Luther Stickles so well as Tom knows Ethan. So it's like. It's just great. And Rebecca being there as well as the girl among all the boys, and it is very boysy when we all get together. She stands up brilliantly, you know. Sean's a superb actor, you know. He's such a solid actor and so committed to doing a good job. I really like Sean. He's very intense, and he has a real sort of like way of doing things which is very studied, but he's a funny guy. And I know underneath all that sort of like villainousness that he puts forward in this movie, there is a guy who is secretly willing to be very funny. The thing that we all spoke about on set was character and you know, understanding that none of those stunts will have any effect really if you don't care about the people that are involved in them. You know, you can see people do stunts, but if it's not a character that you're invested in or have any kind of like emotional attachment to, it kind of leaves you a bit cold, no matter how spectacular the stunt. If you care about that person that's involved, if you have some kind of investment in their survival and their well-being, then it means more. You get more excited. And I think the important thing for us was to create characters that you cared about, so that when they were in those situations, you gave a damn, you know.